Right.
I'm Phil Spradlin. I'm Phil Spradlin. I'm Phil Spradlin. And we're only passing through. And we're only passing through. We're only passing through. Since we have public access to cameras and audio and editing and facilities, I thought I would take advantage and see if we could put together a collection of stories that no one else on earth has to tell. Stories that are unusual, metaphysical, magical, bizarre, entertaining, inexplicable, the kind of stories that most people don't have to tell. So I'll try and tell them. And maybe you can find some inspiration or amazement or wonderment or entertainment in these stories that I have to tell. Let's see what happens. It is June of 2019, but 40 years ago, in October of 1978, a very amazing event happened right here at Curtis Park in Saline, Michigan. And I'm going to tell you that story. I was in a band. We needed a keyboard player. Somebody suggested Don Goujon, who was a fabulous keyboard player. So we went, checked him out, decided to hire him for our band. So I was at his house going through some material with him, showing him our tunes and whatnot. And in the front door walks his mother and his 21-year-old sister, Renee Goujon. I immediately fell in love, but that's love at first sight. I remember it like it was yesterday. So time went on. I asked Renee, who was a graphic artist, if she would make a flyer for our band. And then I asked her if she would deliver it out to Saline, Michigan, where I lived. She agreed. She did in October of 1978. And I asked her if she wanted to go on my daily walk with me through the park, get a little exercise. She said, sure. It just happened to be Sweetest Day of 1978, which is the third Saturday of the month. But nevertheless, we took a walk in this park, started walking down at the other end where you can see behind me, along the river about, 3/4 of a mile or so, 1/4 of a mile. And for some reason, I just asked her, have you ever seen a four-leaf clover? And she said no. So I grabbed a clover without stopping, and it was a four-leaf clover. And we kept walking. She said, how did you do that? And I said, I don't know. I said, you want to see another one? She said, sure. So I grabbed another clover. Without stopping, without looking, it was a four-leaf clover again. We kept walking. I said, do you want to see another one? She said, sure. Another one. 9 times in a row, without stopping and without looking. Every time we grabbed a clover, it was a four-leaf clover. The odds of that happening to anyone ever again is probably 20 trillion to 1. So we took the four-leaf clovers home, put them between wax paper, and lost them for 15 years. Found them 15 years later pressed up against the side of a file cabinet. Put them on the wall of our living room. At that time we were married, and we lost them in a fire. Our house burned down, we lost them. But nevertheless, from that day forward, I had a feeling there was going to be some magical times. And I was not disappointed. We found out years later the #1 legend of a four-leaf clover is a sign of the man you're going to marry. 9 times the sign. I was supposed to marry this woman for whatever reason, and God, I am grateful that I did. So I've told this story probably 1,000 times in 40 years, and every time I tell the story, practically every time I tell this story, the #1 response is, I've never seen a four-leaf clover in my life. And then what will happen is quite often I'll tell the story, and the next day, the person will call me and say, Phil, I walked out to my mailbox and there was a 4-leaf clover on the ground. Or I was telling the story to a group of filmmakers. We were interviewing some on a stage up for the Return to Oz, the movie Return to Oz, and we were interviewing all the celebrities and waiting for them to come in for their interview. We were all sitting around telling stories, and everybody had a little story to tell, and they got to me. I told my 4-leaf clover story. 15 minutes later, the grip on the other side of the room said, Phil, look what came on my phone 15 minutes ago as you were telling your story, and somebody had sent him a 4-leaf clover, a picture of a 4-leaf clover, as I'm telling him the story. Weird stuff like that happens all the time. Can't explain it, don't know why, can't control it, but I just know I'm very grateful for it, and there is a power that must be believed because it really happened and it's really true. Now, we bought a house in Royal Oak for our company, for our graphic arts company and our advertising agency, our marketing firm. And the first summer in 1998, I was in the backyard doing landscaping in the yard of what was then our office. And I found 27 4-, 5-, and 6-leaf clovers. 27 in one afternoon. And 4-leaf clovers are rare, but 5- and 6-leaf clovers are exceedingly rare. They're crazy rare. And I found them, and I don't know what it means, but I take it as a very good omen. And it's been a very blessed life. So I'm grateful and wondering, who else has this happened to? How did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? Who else does it happen to, and how do you explain it? Is there anybody out there that can explain it? Is there anybody out there that knows how to control it? Is there anybody out there that can show me how to control it? Is there anybody out there that can explain any of it? But that was the beginning. That was the start of a lot of metaphysical and magical and mysterious and unusual experiences that I've had over the past 40 years. I'll try and share some of them with you, and you can explain to me, how does this happen? Why does this happen? Is it just me this happens to? Let's explore, shall we?